Hey Islam, I hope you're doing well. This is a great submission. I'm really looking forward to reviewing this. It's a lot of nice stuff in here, and there's just a few things that I think we can clean up um, and tweak. So let's just have a play. Cool, man. Sweet. So I got a few things off the bat that we should have a look at, and actually this first frame's a good one to start. Oh, actually no, I want to start on something else. So I'm just going to turn the sound off. It's cool music. Um, so this for example. I wonder what your intention is with this guy if you want him to look goofy. He looks a bit goofy. If so, it looks cool. And he walks in here kind of like one of those uh, things from Attack on Titan. I can't think of it. Um, then he gets all serious here. I like it. Cool. All right. Yeah, it's interesting. But basically, what I'm thinking is these guys are very symmetrical and they're both the exact same. And I just wonder if they're meant to be twins or something. Maybe even you could just change them to make them different. Even if they're twins, they should probably have a different stance. So, for example, this guy might. The pose is up to you. Obviously, there's multiple fighting poses, but I wouldn't have two characters that look the same in the exact same pose. I probably wouldn't have two characters in the exact same pose anyway. And these hands, maybe one of them could be in fists, right? And like a bit more ready, like arms up. Um, just to break it up so they're not the exact same. And are they all fighting each other? He's looking there. He's looking here. And then the last minute he turns to look, which is at definitely a different eye line to what he's looking at. So you got a little bit of an eye line thing, which is just slightly confusing there. So it's either and then he turns to face the same-ish eye line. So then that means this eye line is wrong. Like, what's he looking at to start off with, right? So you should probably choose that, what he's going to look at. And his head is really rotated up as well. I don't know if you want to bring that down, because he's kind of like this. So it's just the eye line thing. And then there's another eye line thing in this first kick as well. Just make sure whenever you're doing things that the eye line is correct. That he's looking here, looking back looking where he's kicking basically. And one thing that I see here, so when you kick someone and you miss, this guy's already avoided the kick. So what would look cool is if he had this like this, and then this frame, his head should still be in the line of fire, because he's trying to kick him. And then maybe a frame where it's just missed. Like I'm talking like, like he's only just missed him. See that? And then you can go back into what you've had. And that's going to make it a lot closer and more like he's just dodged this massive kick, because at the moment he's already well away from the kick. This is here, his head is here, and then he's kicking here and his head is here. So he's dodged the kick before the kick is even there. and it'd just be cool to make it a bit more of a closer call. So he's doof, just missed the kick. You could maybe even, yeah. So that's the first thing I would do, and then. Alright, so we go here. I've got things at the start, but since we're here, we'll just keep going. Alright, so he dodges the kick. And he's got a fairly straight back the whole time. I would think if you're dodging a kick, you see how I've done the bend here? I would do that bend, and I can see that what you've done is you've moved the shoulder back, like so it's dodged it like this, but you've left the head there in the forward, so I would think that the head should come back as well with that a bit, if you want to do it that way. Otherwise, I would think about putting just a tiny bit of a C curve before you go back into this one, just to like, you know, just get a bit of drag there. Alright, and then I think so I'm gonna touch on this, the way you land, because this, he's coming down, kicks this way, and he's coming down this way. And then goes that way. I might because my thought is you're coming down with the momentum down this way, right, which is cool, and then the momentum stops here, like just here, and he starts dodging, but I think the momentum would still have him coming back just a tiny bit, and he could still be coming back, and then use that to swing around. That's the only thing. It looks like he kind of, that doesn't make sense, but it's so quick it kind of works. But you could maybe just play with that just the tiniest bit. But this is cool. So there's when he gets thrown over here, this is what I wanted to look at. So the timing for this move here is pretty, you get quick there, that's nice, but the whole grabbing is very even. If you watch this bit, see that? So the timing there, it's very, it's quite even. So I would think, you know, maybe he wants to go a bit quick, slow down here, and then go quick again as you have. So for example, this thing here, I would, well, see here, this is where you start to slow down a bit. Probably go to this frame. Let's call this frame 1. See, you probably don't need this frame. I'd cut this out. And I'd probably cut this one out. So you're easing into this move, which is fine, but then there's no speed up through the middle. So you want this kind of timing through here to be like, you've got the ease, and then slam in there, then you slow down for the build, and then you do the fast bit that you have. Where is it? So you go fast here, there's another ease here. So once you do grab it, you might lose this one, or think about making it closer to this one. And then once you're in here is where I'd slow down as you do. Take the weight and then push it. Hope that makes sense. So basically, it's just a little bit linear with the timing. Cool. Alright. And then I'm just going to the major things. So another thing I saw is this kick, right? It's the same, pardon me, it's the same kind of issue that we have with the dodging of the kick. This guy should be here, right? And then when you do this kick, because you see here, there's no more pressure because you've reached the full extent of your kick, so you've missed him essentially. This would do absolutely nothing to him. So, but if he was here, you would have all of this leeway where you're actually kicking him, right? And then you'd have this beautiful thing like this, where you've pushed him this far, and then here you could have him shooting off the side, right? But because you're here, the kick, there's no power there, so this extent is coming from nowhere, or it's not making sense anyway. And then this whole movement, you're easing off this. So when you kick someone, it should be, the timing should be like, maybe you're gonna have like a C thing, like an impact, but then poof, you wanna like speed that guy out of there to show the impact. This guy is easing into this kick, like a slow in. See that? And then he has a fast, and then he has a fast. But this drag is way too much as well, for the speed that you're going. So when you do stretch, it's to cover big gaps in speed, but you're not moving fast, so it just doesn't quite work. And I would also watch the arc that you're coming out on. You're just going straight out, but you could, like have an arc on the arms and offset the arms. So rather than just having like these big straight pointy limbs, you could, one could be like this, and the other, just follow a more interesting arc. So the thing is, it's just the power is not there because you're not kicking him from the correct spot. So kick him correct spot, and then have the kick not slow. You don't ease into the kick. That's cool. And then here, this pose here, this way, right? We've missed the action, so this is not a very good clear pose. So if it was me, I would just spitballing here. I'd be more in this sort of pose, like an antique, and then bam, I'd shoot up into this pose here, as you have. So this pose where, because he's like already upright, we're losing a tiny bit of power, but also it's just not very, it's kind of just cut on the action. And if you're here, and then we can have a push pose, where we see him going up, and maybe careful of this stretch that you're doing. Like the stretch, you're stretching nicely, but maybe just a bit too much at certain times. This push, and then this spin as well. I thought the timing was a bit even. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. I watch this head as well. You're kind of popping around everywhere with that head. Keep the head on a straighter line. Right, so you're going up and your head's not popping around. And with this, you've got no, you're going up as a plank and spinning as a plank, but wouldn't it be nice if the shoulders were kind of dragging and leading, maybe? Or if this is like a stylized thing that you're doing, I guess. I question it. If you could add like a little bit of drag as you're spinning or something, or at least leading with the head, so the head is facing this way as you're turning, right? Because the motion, and the shoulders are just tiny bit leaning, and then you can, like this pose here, you'd be looking at us already. You know what I mean? This one you'd be kind of nose here, looking at us. Then here. More arms like that. And then I'd, get the overlap on the hands a bit. And then open them up. And then this pose that you're doing with the hands is not too clear, or it could be definitely cooler. I don't know what you want, but you could maybe do something like designed. Like, what if you did a snake or something? Like he's a cobra, something like that. Teeth. I don't know, but the hands. I think you're missing an opportunity to do something like kung fu with the hands, something like that. That could be cool. And also the pose. You could be like really clenched up in a ball. You know what I mean? Like really kung fu, but here kind of just like. Woo. I think it could be way more kung fu here. I think you're living in this pose for a long time. This is a dynamic pose. This is a key pose, and it's not very designed. Even the feet, it could be more designed. So this is kind of keeping in line with what you've got, just designing it a bit more interesting. But I definitely go the kung fu route. It's just something more cool. And then when you land, I would go straight down. I wouldn't. You're going off to the left a bit here. See that? And then you're going over here. You're doing that. And then you got to work on this overlap here. This basically it's this jiggling around in a unnatural way. So what's happening is there's no, like it's as if these are where the overlap is. These are quite stiff. Like the shoulders are where all the hecticness is. When it should really be like when you land, it should maybe be down like this. And then again, you can open them out. Having no overlap here. And you've got this claw hand, but these claw hands are not, like, if you look at the silhouette of this hand, it's kind of like, like it's not very clear. Same with this one. So you gotta design. I think your hand poses need a bit of love. So that's evident at the start as well when you're just chilling here like this. I think you could design them a tiny bit more. When they're fists, they're all sweet because fists are fists. But these ones here, especially when you're coming here, it should be kind of, you keep the claws, but they should be dragging, should they not? This is when they're gonna be free. And it's cool. I just might open it out. It doesn't have to be like a complete like Spider-Man pose where it's out here, but I think it should be a bit further back or something before shot. But yeah, design these hands. Just have a look at some dynamic stuff. Spider-Verse will have a bunch, but yeah, get that jiggle off. I think that you've indicated that the stage is bouncy, right, or something. I don't know why it's so bouncy. Just do like the classic like he settles. I wouldn't rock so much bounce. All right, cool. All right, cool. So let's at the start here. Same with the expression. We're rocking a very symmetrical expression, and I wonder if what you're going for is you could just get just a tiny bit more, like he's keen to fight, maybe, or if he's not keen to fight, you could try something like I don't know. But I would look at getting just to clear a tiny bit of asymmetry and open the face up on this side. As you do actually, when we go into this, you do it nicely here where you squish this side, and then you open this side. But this is cool, but then the mouth, you don't do anything with the mouth, you strip the straight mouth, so I would, push everything. And when you do it, so you see this action here that you have with the chin, it looks very like his whole half his face is moving, right? But that should just be his lips, he's just going like, or whatever he's doing. I think he's doing like a lip thing, right? Like, so you can move the chin, but majority of it should be in the lips. But you're doing it majority with the chin, which is making it look a bit weird. And then this open face that you're going to here, you're opening into like this non-fight, like sincere face. Like it looks like sad here, but if you go straight from this face to this, oops, where is it? To this face, look at the difference here. Oops, from this one to that one, just works a lot better. You don't need to go up into this whole. This is a whole new expression. This one, and yeah, I don't think you need it. I think you can just go straight from here to here, and then nose thing is cool, but it's super isolated to the nose. I'd probably get a bit of like you squishing the lips up a tiny bit as well. Like connect that, and then see how twisted the nose is, but it's got zero effect here on the lip, so it looks very isolated. The lip would come across, and then when he lets go, both the lip would come out, and you could come out into a smile as well, like he's ready to not an open smile, but like you don't have to smile, but come out into like he's ready to rock and roll, but he ain't ready to fight. When you're punching this, close the hands. There's no recoil when it gets punched. It kind of just locks, but you can see I can't even do that. Like there's got to be like a recoil, like this sort of thing, to show the force. So make sure you close the hand around that. I'm not sure what stage this shot is in, by the way. So you probably still got some stuff to work on. I'm sure this is probably not the final. Looks like the hands might be an arcade as well, which you can see that's very arcade just here. It's very arcade. So I would see how the hands are moving, they stop, and then the elbows move, but the hands don't. There's you got a bit of an arcade problem here, so just give that a bit of love. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see some reference with this. You might be pushing everything a bit too hard. I see what you're trying to do. The chin, in fact, is just wobbling around a fair bit here. Wobble, and then up again. Yeah, so you're moving the whole face, you're moving the whole chin, but it should really be mostly the mouth, leading with the mouth, and the chin as a secondary thing that's just help supporting the action. But at the moment, the chin, the whole half of the face is just moving around. So I'd switch the main thing to the mouth there. And then I don't know if you want to just have this guy more of a. I'm just going to draw it over here, but more like. More of a fighting stance. I don't know. Don't do that. Don't use that pose. But just more like these just stand super upright, so I think it could be a bit more interesting there. And then when he turns, he's leading with the head, but his neck is really stiff here. I think you could probably rotate the neck to go into that turn a bit more, just so it's not just completely one-to-one with the chest. You're leading a bit. This is cool. Right? You got a bit of a continuity thing here. You got like, it looks like a fist, and then you're not a fist. So this first pose that you come, so this is the first pose that we see to understand the cut, right? And if you look at the silhouette of everything, right, it's not overly clear what we're looking at. And this is the first thing that we see for the audience to understand. Same thing here, it's not very clear. And then this is the first pose where we can see what's going on, but he's kind of cut off at the screen, and that's on the left, and then he's not kicking him in the face. So this whole first bit, I think we need to give a bit more attention. So let's say if this is the, what is this guy doing? He's going down into a kick. So I would separate it, right? And I'm just going to draw it very basic. How would I do it? Challenging me here. I think I understand the point though. So if this was me here, have the arm here, very clear fist. Right. Right, so this is very clearly a fist, getting ready to punch. So we can see that, and you can make this pose, just look at reference from backwards punch poses to make sure this is as clear as possible, that it's an anticipation to a punch. And then this guy should be over here getting his kick ready. Maybe. I don't know how to draw this pose really, but the point is he's doing a kick and he's doing a punch, and it's super clear what's going on. And then this next one, what is even going on? Because you actually made a bit of a mistake here, because he's coming backwards, loading up the gun to punch. Then here he should be coming this way, but instead he goes backwards. So you decided he's doing a dodge or something? Yeah, I'm not too sure about that, man. Right. Yeah, I think you should follow through with the punch. You've got this massive anticipation. And then he's doing a back. So I think what you need is to clear this up so you can see exactly what's happening. He's about to kick, he's about to punch, and then he's going to follow through the punch. And then as he's doing the punch, this guy is obviously in a more clear kick pose. Right, so they're separate. Use the screen a bit more. So I'm not going to draw it because I've lost it. I'm going to use the onion skin maybe. Ooh, a bit messy. Alright, so let's start. Let's say he's gone to punch. Let's just say that's a punch, and then he's gone down to kick. So the foot's coming up here now. And then that's when he starts to come back or something. Does that even make sense? So he's going to punch, he's going to kick. Yeah, I think the mechanics are not quite right here. It's a bit confusing. You need to so two things. You need to get the action that they're doing correct, and you need to stage it so we can see clearly what's happening. So especially this frame here. So stage it so we can see that then make them follow through the actions they're doing. And then all the same notes apply with the eyeline and that. Maybe as well get him just a bit more ninja, bit of a straight back there. Just curl it as much as possible. I would squeeze these poses a bit. Get a nice curl in there. I'm just shooting here, but making these poses more dynamic. I'm not sure what this arm will be doing. Maybe it's up here. Yeah, and then this one is like, I'm not sure what happens when you kick, but kung fu it out, make this pose more dynamic with a clean line of action. Could be cool. More of a bend. The spine, nice straight spine. And then yeah, he's doing that thing here where he's changing direction. Always try to move down where he's going. Cutting him off a tiny bit. Like, I don't know if you can avoid that. If you know, maybe he could be here, so you can see more of it. So you're not just cutting so much off the camera here, if that's possible. And yeah, and then his arm is not following through the action. Right, he's got a bit of a look here, then down, then up, and then down again. So he's popping up and down here. So it's this guy, and then he's coming out with a straight arm. Oh, I see, he's bending it out. Might try to do something like that. Make it a bit clearer. And this sort of arc. You know, you could clean that. I'm not sure about that, but you could clean that up. Then this again is not clear, so you want, you know, just clear pose. Not like this, but this should look like a punch. This is a straight arm, you know, and maybe you want this first. Whoa, it's interesting. I like that. It's very interesting. But then I would probably just have that straight. But this unique thing, I don't know, it's kind of cool. How's it play? Yeah, no, I've never thought of that. I like it. It's like really pushing the pressure in. That's really cool. Maybe keep it, but we're missing like the correct back one. It's definitely not this. Maybe it's something like this. Delete this one. That's cool. And I wouldn't. You don't change your face into this in one thing. He'd still be all like broken. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about changing your face. Just keep, and when he gets punched, you don't hold that face. Do like his lips going like ooh, you know. Like if you look at boxers, they won't be smiling, that's for sure. The impact would change that. And then just watch. I would maybe, because he's getting knocked out, I would actually drag that arm down. And then what's he doing? So yeah, again with these punches here, you're punching with a straight arm a lot. But we don't punch with straight arms. We load it back and then punch like this. So I think you got a few key pose things to think about a little bit. What's happening here? And he's throwing over the top. Yeah, we don't punch like that. We don't. He just looks like he's doing a swim. I would. This is like what you're winding up for here is like a beautiful uppercut. I would swing this down, so it's coming up here, and then you've got then this leg twisted this way. Yeah, this is not making a whole lot of sense, this next bit. I see you've got lots of nice things in here, and on face value, first play, it looks like it's working pretty good. See, he's like dead straight. They were dead straight. And when he walks, his leg is just sliding forward. I'm gonna leave it there because I think that's a lot for you to do already. Covered that. This is a bit. We'll just watch this. There's a pause here for the butt. See that pauses, but this keeps going, and then it catches up. So you gotta include that in the movement. And it'd be cooler if it was more like, holding his fist down, like looking at where he's going. I think you need to choose what you want with that and get the dynamic poses in there, because it's a little bit willy-nilly. Yeah, but awesome work. It's a complicated shot. That's why, lots of camera angles. It's a complex fighting scene, so there's loads for you to do. But it's important that you get the poses right, because when something like this is moving so fast and you're changing cameras so much, it's important that we can read what. It's important that you make it as clear as possible in order for us to read it, and try and hold a like antique as much as possible. Kind of. Give us as much time as you can afford to read a pose and make them super clear. Like this, like for example here, even this one here, I always do this, so I say I finish and then I keep going. Then you bring this down, it's not so bad, but it's cut off again. And his antique is still quite straight, so you could fix that. And he gets cut off, and then all of this action here is happening up here. Then he pops down as well, so the spacing is a bit odd. Right, and now he's going down and across. So the space, if you watch the arc of the butt, he's doing some, odd things, because the butt should be, it should be going up. It should be, that sort of thing. So a little bit to think about, but I hope you enjoyed this review and got a lot out of it. I think it's a great shot, and just needs a little bit of tweaking, and you'll be well on the way to having an awesome shot. Rock and roll. Thanks so much for submitting your shot for a review.